93.7 The Ticket. This is the Happy Hour.
You guys going to happy hour?
Live from the Coppel Chevrolet GMC studios in the heart of Lincoln, America.
Yeah, I'll come for a couple.
Here are your hosts, Nick Sainert.
Did you understand anything I just said?
Yeah, I got it. I'm good at that.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
It sounds like we on path.
Yep, we're on a path.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Good afternoon. Happy Tuesday. This is the Happy Hour, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick Sainert and Enrique Alvarez Clary are with you today. Hello, Rico.
Hello.
How's it going?
It's going great. I am full.
Dude, so
I'm about to fall asleep.
I know. I was yawning during the pregame there with Tom and Bach. I was slowly starting to yawn just because now the brisket and sweet potatoes have
the collard greens and the beans and the cornbread.
If I almost tweeted this out. If I could be locked in a room with sweet potatoes, those sweet potatoes
for Mary Ellen's
and that brisket, I would do it. And I would just eat it. I would eat my way out.
Look, man, I went back for seconds, and there was another piece of cornbread left, so I took that, and I think that might have put me over the edge. I took some more briskets, some beans, a little bit more collard greens, and some cornbread, and I think the cornbread might have pushed me over the edge. And I think, man, it is.
Well,
my belly is full. I am happy, and I am about to pass out on the air.
Well, so I saw you right when I walked in. I walked in at about 12:40, 12:45ish, and I grabbed McDonald's. I grabbed a couple McChickens, and I walked through the door, and I'm like, man, I'm not going to eat my McChickens today because I smelled everything that was back here. The brisket was phenomenal. It just fell apart. It was so good. So go over to Mary Ellen's and get yourself some. 402-464-5685 Honda Lincoln Hotline, Starter Heyman text line. Both those open for you all hour long, as well as the Starter Heyman Jewelers video stream, Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. Check it out there. And also, I want to point this out because I'm not sure if you guys know this. If you go online, if you don't have a Facebook or Twitch or anything, if you go online to our website, and then on the in the little bar at the top, it says watch live. So if you don't have a Facebook, Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch account, make sure you head over there and you'll still be able to watch us on there. Breezy says, fellas, will we know who the next offensive coordinator is on the rush hour? First of all, we are named the Happy Hour.
What is the rush hour? Who's that?
We are not the rush hour. And second of all, who knows?
Does that mean you're Jackie Chan? I'm Chris Tucker, obviously.
That works. Rico, I'm going to give you about 45 seconds to talk about your Patriots.
I don't need 45 seconds. All I need is 15. Great win. Disgusting weather.
Okay.
The run game is great. The defense is better. Jay Foreman has to eat hot wings now.
When are we doing that? Maybe DP, when are we doing
I don't know.
that?
Hold on.
What now?
When?
Friday at 4:00.
Great to hear. Have you talked to Jay?
No, I want to let him marinate.
Good deal, because I did not know.
I was texting with Jay, just a couple of texts back and forth last night, and he said the defense was looking soft. And right when he texted me, that was right after Damian Harris ripped off that long run, and I was like, "So how you feeling?" And he said he was pissed because the Buffalo wasn't playing well.
Last time I talked to him, he was actually putting on his old Buffalo uniform. He was going to catch a flight and go see if he could help him out.
He sent me a picture of when he was playing in Buffalo, and he said it was like 10 degrees, but with the wind chill it was like -30. And I was like, you Buffalo boys are built different. Hard pass.
I said this to you, Rico. Who would even want to go watch that game?
Buffalo
in that weather.
Buffalo fans. I mean, did you see the stadium? Nobody was leaving.
Holy cow!
That place was full.
That's when, for me personally,
most of them are drunk though. They can't feel anything.
It crosses the line to being from just cold and rainy to absolutely miserable. Like, I went to a Kansas City Chiefs game, and it was Chiefs Chargers. Gosh, this was probably 5-6 years ago, and
so you were like 12.
I would have been like 13, 12 maybe. Um,
Jeez. My
so
goodness.
anyway, I would have been in my teenage years, and it was so bitterly cold that it was not fun. Like that's one thing like I cannot handle. I hate the cold so much.
Mhm.
You guys will find that out. I hate the cold so much. It's horrible.
I am also not a fan of the cold. Playing football in the cold, once you warm up, is not bad. But when you're on the sideline, like if you're out there for a long drive and you're on offense or defense, like it's okay because you're warmed up and you're feeling good. But then you go to the sideline and you just have to sit for a little bit.
Mhm.
It is like halftime comes around after you played a half of football, you're feeling good, you're warm, you can't really feel the cold. You go inside, and as soon as you come back out, you're like, I hate everything.
It's every time that like when Dawson Knox caught a ball right in the middle of the field and literally got sandwiched by two Patriot
Mhm.
defenders. I was just like, man, his bones just crushed in half there.
He can't feel it. He's too
they're in
cold.
shambles.
He's too cold. He
It's
can't feel
just
it.
it sounds like, I mean, the helmet hitting you would be hurt even more. It
Mhm.
feels like it's just,
Catching the football with cold hands,
Mhm.
and it's a cold football, so
Dude.
it's like a rock. Hurts.
Josh
bad.
Allen was pumping it last night.
I would have hated to be a receiver playing with Josh Allen last night.
Josh Allen, every time they were going against the wind, you could just tell how much extra oomph he put behind that
Well,
ball.
he had to. The wind was going across the field at like 50 miles an hour in gusts, so like you could see it on the back shoulder fade to Stephon Diggs. Like he threw it, and it probably would have been a perfect pass, and it would have been a touchdown. But the wind caught it at just the right time and just pushed it away from Stephon Diggs. And I'm just like, oh, that sucks. And then, like we were saying, the kicks were just going up and just immediately going to the right. And on one side of the field, they weren't even trying to kick.
Yeah, that video that you tagged all of us in, where the ball just literally sat there,
Mhm.
and yeah, it was almost like one of those things on Madden where I don't know if you've ever played like
Yes.
the Gauntlet,
Yes.
where the wind is blowing at like 75 miles an hour.
You're just
and
like, I'm
you
not
have to-
going to make this.
Yeah,
I don't
you
know
have
why
to aim
this
it
is
so
even...
far to the side. All right, 402-464-5685 Honda Lincoln Hotline, Starter Heyman text line. Feel free to hit us up on Twitter as well, Nick_Sainert, and at Radio Rico AC. Just to give you guys kind of a preview of what it's going to look like today, we had an interesting text on the text line yesterday regarding whether or not to keep a coach after 15 mediocre years, or if you would rather fire a coach every couple years. And by couple, I mean like 4 or 5 years, I suppose. So we're going to kind of talk about that. Feldarius Payne entered the transfer portal yesterday afternoon. So we're going to kind of talk about what the defense is going to look like next year.
Mhm.
As we know right now, obviously they're probably going to have some additions and things like that from the portal, but we can actually talk a little bit about that. At 2:30 today, Jacob Padilla of Hail Varsity will be stopping by. He'll talk about Nebraska, Michigan tonight. I also want to ask him about Nebraska high school basketball, because he's been able to check out a little bit there in the first couple games of the season, because we're a year removed from Hunter Salas, Frankie Fiddler, Chucky Hepburn, that massive class. You still
of basketball.
you still have guys like Isaac Trout and things like that out in Grand Island, but it's not the
Those guys who are
Gonzaga
already- yeah.
recruits and Wisconsin recruits and things like that.
I mean, he's going to Virginia. It's still really good.
Yeah.
But who outside of Isaac Trout, who's like the top 3 in Nebraska boys basketball?
You'd probably throw Jason Green in there from Miller North, who's going to Creighton.
Mhm.
But other than that, I mean, it's kind of there's like Luke Youngers from Creighton Prep, who's impressive. But that's one thing we're going to ask him is what does the scene look like this season? With
William
those
Kyle's
guys
going to South Dakota State.
That's right. And then Pius has the Hofstreiter brothers, who are going to South Dakota State and North Dakota State. So we'll ask him a little bit about that, but mainly Husker basketball stuff coming up in the 2:30 segment, and then we'll kind of just finish up our thoughts in the final segment there. So Rico, we were asked this question yesterday, and this is where I kind of want to get your guys' thoughts. 402-464-5685. We were asked yesterday, or told yesterday, that they would rather fire a coach
Every 4 to 5 years.
rather than stay with a coach for 15 years. And let me kind of
We'll stay with
talk about the coach that you would stay
Yeah.
with for 15 years. It'd be like a Kirk Ferentz. He gets 8, 9, maybe 10 wins as a coach every now and then. He's not a guy that's going to do wonders at the college football playoff or anything. Like look at Iowa. They're never going to be in Ohio State, but they're going to be that hard-nosed team kind of every single year, that annoying team. And I think, and the reason I kind of brought this up is I think it's easy for people to say that they want 8 or 9 wins every year right now
Mhm.
because Nebraska's 3-9. And so like 8 and 9 is like, holy smokes. Like Happer and I were just talking a little bit ago about next season and stuff. And I asked him, I was like, would you be happy with 7? And like next year, would you be happy with 7?
Just next year.
And he was like, yeah, I think, I mean, it'd be better. And I said, but would Nebraska be happy? And I was like, I think next year needs to be 8 or 9.
See, and you keep like, okay. You keep saying that,
Yeah.
and I agree with you. But on one hand, you have to realize where you are coming from right now as a program.
Yeah.
Not just, what was before Scott Frost, but what has been going on with Scott Frost. And yes, the program has been improving from what Mike Riley had this program at, based on what you have heard coming out of the program and what the coaches have said and what other people have said, but not in terms of wins. But under Scott Frost, in terms of wins, this program has not been succeeding. It hasn't been going in the right direction. So I feel as if you get to 6-7 wins, that would show the improvement on the winning side that you are trying to show with all of the work you're doing behind the scenes, all of the lifting, all of the hard practices and the getting back to Nebraska football. So I believe that if you just for next year, if you get to 7 wins, that would be enough improvement for another year. And that would be the year where if you get to 7 wins, it's not enough. Even if you get to 7, even if you get to a bowl game, 7 wins is not enough.
And maybe how I should have said it is you can say that's better, that's improvement.
And it's not where you want to be.
You don't have to be happy with 7.
No, you don't have to be, but you can accept 7 wins up based on what you have had for the past 4 years. 7 wins would be great. It's not what you want at all. That's not what you want. You're not settling for 7, but getting to 7 wins after a 3-win season is great. That's the improvement you want. And that could buy you another year to then get to 9 wins, get to 10, get to maybe, I don't know if 8 would even be good enough after that.
Keep
but
raising expectations.
You just keep raising expectations. And if you drop back down to not making a bowl game, that's unacceptable after you show that you can get to those higher standards of winning.
That's a really good point. And Eric in Lincoln says this on the text line: wouldn't you rather keep trying to be Ohio State than just settle for average? And that's kind of what the point I was going to make is it's easy for people to say that, oh yeah, I would love 8 or 9 wins every year right now because Nebraska's sitting at 3-9. But if everybody wants Nebraska to get back to this national relevancy, then the idea of never settle needs to be there. And when you have 8 or 9 wins every single year, fans should want to get the fans and the program, the people inside making all the decisions should want to keep improving and get to that 10 or 11 wins.
And I get not wanting to settle for average, not wanting to settle for 8 or 9 wins. But if you get back to that 8 or 9 win plateau and you're doing that for a couple of years, you can't freak out. You can't all of a sudden, go back to, well, we're only getting 8 or 9 wins. I guess we can't crack it anymore. No, you need to. You got to keep pushing, and you have to push the program to get past 8 or 9 wins. Cause that's what I know, people are saying, oh, they settle for average. They settle for this. Kirk Ferentz is getting 8-9 wins every season and he's staying at Iowa because every couple of seasons he'll throw in 11-2, 10-3, 10-2, 11-2, 12-2. He throws it in every couple of seasons. But the other thing that goes along with that is they're beating teams every once in a while that they're not supposed to beat. They beat Penn State at home at Iowa a couple of years ago, and that was a really good Penn State team. I know everybody's saying they avoid Ohio State. They don't get Ohio State. Yeah, that's true. But they're still getting some of the good teams from the East. And in the West, they're beating all the teams they need to beat.
Which, if you want to compare those two programs, those two coaches specifically, that's where Kirk Ferentz has separated himself from like a Scott Frost right now. Is because you're here if you're Scott Frost and saying, well, I've beaten Purdue once, I've beaten Minnesota once, and the Minnesota one was in your first season. And you're sitting there saying, and that's been the whole thing. That's been my whole rebuttal about all these close losses against the top programs is those are all great, but you can't take away very much from those losses if you go out and lay an egg against Purdue, if you go out and lay an egg against Iowa. Like that Iowa loss, you were up 21-6. You were up 21-9 with however many minutes left in the fourth quarter. And to be fair, like for me personally, I don't care what you did or if you only lost to Ohio State by 9 at home or whatever the previous week. If you go out and you can't finish a game when you're up 21-9,
And especially in that one, when you're up 21-9, you're taking so much solace in the fact that you kept it close against Oklahoma. You kept it close against Ohio State. I'm trying to remember back. I don't know if they led against Oklahoma at all. I don't know. They had the game tied against Ohio State at one point. They might have led maybe like a 3-0 or 7-0, but you didn't lead for very long.
They did not.
Did they not? Yeah.
It was Oklahoma scored on a their first drive of the game, which there was a questionable pass interference or a no call on an offensive pass interference that Oklahoma very well could have been called for on like a pick play with Bob Stoops' son.
Yes, I
remember
then
that. They scored a touchdown, and then Connor Culp came out, drilled a 51-yarder. And I was sitting up in the press box that day like, oh, okay. Connor Culp drilled a 51-yarder.
Good Culp is here.
Here we go. And so it's just interesting to see how everything kind of unfolds there.
Yeah, so you're taking solace in the fact that you kept it close against Oklahoma and Ohio State. You never led in those games. Well, you were against Iowa, who was a top 25 team, and you led 21-9, and you couldn't finish that game out. So the close losses to Oklahoma and Ohio State, yeah, maybe you can go back and say, oh, look, we kept it close against these two really good top 10 teams. Mm-hmm. But in the end, you also lost to a Purdue. You lost to a Minnesota. You lost to an Iowa after building a massive lead against them.
And that's an interesting way to look at it, because it's almost like, if you're a Nebraska fan, and let us know, 402-464-5685. I want to get to quite a few of your texts here because you guys are giving some good thoughts on it. But would you rather be in that boat of winning those games that you're supposed to win consistently and then maybe sneak in a win against an Ohio State every now and then? Or would you rather not, be on unstable ground against everybody? And the reason I say that is and here's the thing, is because you were on unstable ground this season, and people were kind of happy with the performances every now and then. Mm-hmm. I mean, think about it. Like if you, when I say that out loud, just looking back just 30 seconds ago, I'm thinking to myself right now, Nick, what did you just say? Because that sounds stupid. That's even a question. But really, I mean, you're going to be able to have an opportunity where you blow out a Northwestern like you did, 56-7, but you come up close against Ohio State. Would you rather have it like that, where you may be able to pull out a couple of the other games against, Minnesota, Purdue, things like that? Or would you rather have it you knock off the Big Ten West lower level opponents every single season, but you don't get those big wins against the Ohio States?
Just Bo Pelini.
It's interesting. Because I seriously think that that's a question that would go both ways.
Mm-hmm. And I get the improvement and the keeping everything close, and that's the difference between now and the previous administration, the previous coaching staffs, is that those staffs were getting blown out by the really good teams, and this staff, although they haven't won the games against even the lower level competition, they're keeping it close against the cream of the crop in the Big Ten, and that is a fantastic improvement. But right now, it's fine if you keep it close against them, but you also have to beat the lower level guys. You have to beat the Northwesterns. You have to beat the Purdues, the Minnesotas, the Illinois. You cannot lose to Illinois in back-to-back years. That is just not, like, Purdue and Minnesota have been getting better. Illinois has been getting better, but they're still, they should not be beating a Nebraska team.
An intriguing text just came in from Eric. He says, Iowa got killed by Wisconsin, Purdue, and Michigan. Nebraska played those three teams way better. Iowa is fine with who they are. Ferentz would be on the hot seat in Lincoln every year because we wouldn't tolerate it. If that's the case, then why are we tolerating a coach that just went 3-9 and is 15-29? Are we in that position? Is Nebraska in that position to not tolerate a coach because he didn't achieve success? Genuine question, because I'm in the same boat as Eric. Like, yes, if from on the outside looking in, there's no way Nebraska should tolerate what just happened this last season. Mm. And there are a lot. Let me be straight. There are a lot of fans that don't tolerate it, are not tolerating it. But here's the thing. By Eric's text, he says Ferentz would be on the hot seat in Lincoln every year because we wouldn't tolerate it. But Nebraska, including the administration and now the fan base, to an extent, tolerated and allowed a 3-9 coach to return for his fifth season. Allowed a coach that has
not a winning record,
that has not had a winning record, has not achieved a bowl game, has not even come close to sniffing the Big Ten championship game. They allowed him to return, and it was almost a welcome when his contract got readjusted, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's exactly what I'm saying is like you guys, and I'm not calling anybody out here, but people are so quick to say, oh yeah, there's no way Nebraska would tolerate, 7-8 wins a season. But here we are, and we just tolerated a 3-9 coach. Let's go to the Honda Lincoln Hotline. We have Russ on the line. Russ, what's on your mind, man? Russ?
Hello?
Hey,
Russ, what's up?
Hey, not too much. Got a little cold with the way this weather's changing, but
Tell me about it.
hanging in there. I think we all need to step back and get off our pedestal and realize, and I'm a life,
Did we lose Russ?
I don't know. Hold on.
so I'm there, been there for every home game for the last, when Mo Pelini's been there, up in the new 600 section. And I think we got to get off our pedestal, and I think we have to understand where we're at. And where we're at as a program is we're on the bottom, and we've got to earn where we're going.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think we have to, not that we have to stay away from expectations, but I think the thing is, I think we got to start baby stepping it and go for 5 wins, go for 6 wins, work our way up. And unfortunately, as much as I hate to say this, Iowa is a better program than us right now. And they've beaten us 7 years in a row, and we haven't even beat the teams that we're supposed to beat.
Yep. Yeah.
Of where we're at.
Yeah.
So I think we got to start beating the teams that we're supposed to beat. And once we do that, then we'll have a chance beating the other teams in the bowl game or in the Big Ten championship if we can ever get there. But I think it's got to be about baby steps, and I think we got to get off our pedestal. As much as I hate to say that, because I'm a diehard,
Mm-hmm.
and just start building this thing up and earn everything we get. Thanks, guys.
Yep. Thanks, Russ. Let's go really quickly to Kevin on line 2. Kevin, we got about 30 seconds here. What's on your mind, man? And
Okay.
Kevin is gone. That's all right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, Russ made a really, really good point. You got to beat the teams that you are supposed to beat. And Cubsker makes a good point on the text line. Florida fired their coach after an SEC championship appearance, and he went 34-15. Bingo. Like, and I'll be honest, I know you guys don't want me talking about my classes, but that's a project that I did in my sports data analytics class just yesterday. Does Florida care more about winning than Nebraska does? With the way that this last season panned out?
Seems
Yes.
as if they do.
Seems like they do. Seems like the mission and everybody's making an apparent at Florida is winning. At Nebraska, not so much.
And
We
it
don't
definitely
know.
is because they're coming off of multiple seasons of being in the top 13. So it's crazy.
Yeah. Let's take a break. Jacob Padilla of Hail Varsity joins us next on the Happy Hour.
The following is a test of the emergency alert system.
Follow Nick and Enrique on Twitter at Nick_Sainert and at Radio Rico AC. More of Happy Hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
You may be eligible for free 500 megabit internet from Allo if you've been financially impacted during the pandemic or received federal support. This is Brad Moline, president of Allo Communications, and I'm proud to say that Allo is supporting the FCC's Emergency Broadband Benefit Program. We're committed to providing everyone in our fiber communities access to high-quality internet. To find out more, please stop by our Allo store or go to allofiber.com/EBB.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now, they're hiring for production operators at $21.72 an hour and other select jobs starting at $23.42 an hour, with wages growing up to $27.55 an hour. Continental also has salary jobs available with great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates. To learn more or apply, go to continentaljob.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric ensures our home and office HVAC systems run smoothly throughout the year to provide maximum comfort and convenience. Routine maintenance reduced our operating costs just by improving the efficiency of our unit. Consider a maintenance agreement to ensure you too receive priority for services and scheduling. This helps meet manufacturer warranty requirements. Action delivers honest quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
Water heater gone? Call Bryant. The price you're quoted is the price you'll pay. And in most cases, same-day replacement. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111.
Venue at Home is your answer for locally made, freshly prepared meals delivered to your door every week. Our meals come ready to heat and eat. With sizes for 2 people or 4, Venue at Home is perfect for busy people who want a quick, easy, and delicious meal option to share with your roommates or feed the whole family. Add on from our wide selection of appetizers, sides, desserts, alcohol, and more. Receive a discount on your meals by subscribing to get Venue at Home delivered every week. Visit venueathome.net to order today. That's venueathome.net.
This is your High School Minute.
With your Southeast Community College High School Minute, I'm Harrison Arns. In girls basketball, number 5 Lincoln Southwest won over number 4 Bellevue East 47-38. Kennedy Williams led all scorers with 15 points and came up big on both sides of the court as a two-way player. On Saturday in boys basketball, Lincoln Southeast fell to Bellevue West 80-58. Lincoln High lost in double overtime to Columbus 76-72. Colin Nickford East would finish the game with 20 points. Lincoln East also lost this week to Creighton Prep 54-51. Creighton Prep scored on a three-pointer with 1 second left to seal the game. Lincoln North Star coasted to a win over South Sioux City 71-4. Lincoln Northeast won over Papillion La Vista 63-57. Lincoln Pius won over North Platte comfortably 61-41. Lincoln Lutheran lost to Norfolk Catholic 53-37. Norris won over Northwest 52-36. And Waverly beat Elkhorn 45-24. This has been your High School Minute, sponsored by Southeast Community College, with locations in Lincoln, Beatrice, and Milford. Learn more today at southeast.edu.
At Southeast Community College, we know that winter isn't even here yet, but spring is already on our minds. Registration for the spring 2022 semester is open now. Whether you want to get a head start on a 4-year degree, learn a new trade with a certificate program, or add to your job skills, SCC has a class for you. Spring semester starts January 10th. Learn more about our more than 60 programs of study online at southeast.edu. SCC, your path to possible.
Barry's is back and better than ever. Join us there on Tuesday from 3 to 6 p.m. as DP goes one-on-one and Jay Foreman joins for Old School as we prepare for the Michigan-Nebraska basketball game to follow. Drinks, food, and sports talk. Join us for it all on Tuesday at Barry's.
At the Nebraska Ag Expo, we're passionate about sharing all the latest and greatest innovations and technologies that agriculture has to offer to help increase profits, lower costs, and improve the way you farm and ranch. Grab your neighbor and come on out to this year's show. Visit with nearly 1,700 ag experts, all under one roof. December 7th, 8th, and 9th at the Lancaster Event Center. Register online for free admission at nebraskaagexpo.com. Sponsored in part by Farm Credit Services of America and Ag Direct.
You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert and Enrique Alvarez Clary on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Before we get to Jacob Padilla of Hail Varsity, I want to get to a text here. 402-464-5685. This is building off of what we just talked about, and I was talking about, about winning and the stuff. Chris says this, bad take. We care just as much about winning. We just realize now that firing coaches over and over again isn't what will get us wins. And Rico and I were kind of talking about that during the break, and it's not the firing coaches over and over again. That's not the part of it. It's the part of those coaches that you put in place, finding the right coach, the right fit. And then that's part one. Part two is then that coach and that staff being willing to make a change when necessary. That's what I'm saying.
It's the hiring the wrong coaches, because after Bo Pelini, hiring Mike Riley was a mistake that surprised literally everyone. I'm sure even Mike Riley was like, really? You're going to take you're hiring me?
Hiring me?
All right, whatever, dude. I'll take it. I'll do my best job, but I don't know about this. And I'm not saying Scott Frost is the wrong coach right now, but 4 years in, it's not looking great.
Yeah. Let's go on to the Honda of Lincoln hotline. We have Jacob Padilla on the line with us today, as we do every Tuesday. Jacob, how's it going?
I'm doing all right. I'm excited about this game tonight.
Yeah, it is a big one. But first, before we dive into Michigan a little bit, I want to talk about Indiana on Saturday because it was a game. Nebraska really struggled, especially from beyond the arc. They only got to the free throw line 5 times, if I can remember correctly. I mean, where does Nebraska go from here? How do they fix their shooting woes?
Yeah, well, Fred Hoiberg got up on a ladder and put 2 basketballs through the hoop at the same time in practice on Sunday to demonstrate to the team that the hoop is probably bigger than you realize.
Mm-hmm.
So we're already to the like psychological state of trying to figure out how to get them to make shots.
Great start.
So that's not, you never want to have to go to those kind of tricks, but Fred Hoiberg is trying to find some way to get some confidence in these guys because, they 1 for 16 to start that game before they hit a few late after it didn't really matter. So that is a problem. They've shot poorly in most of their games this year. I think they've got 3 games where they've cleared the 33% mark, and everything else is 25% or below, basically. So that is not going to get it done with the makeup of this roster. And they have done a good job of getting into the paint, of getting the free throw line. That wasn't the case against Indiana, and that's something they're going to have to find a way to get back to. But yeah, at a certain point, as they get into conference play here, the shots are just going to have to fall or they're going to struggle. It's going to be that simple. Like there's only so much with the makeup of this roster that they can do to manufacture points other ways. They're going to have to hit some shots.
I guess with that, I mean, I'm not saying it's necessarily time to hit the panic button, but when do you start looking primarily at other options in terms of ways to score?
Well, I don't know that you do have other options because you look at the roster and Keisei Tominaga, CJ Wilcher, I mean, Keon Edwards hasn't really done much, but that's what he was supposed to be. Kobe Webster, like these guys, Latmayen, all those guys are 3-point threats first. Like that's what they were supposed to be when they were brought in. That's the reason Fred Hoiberg went out and got all those guys. And when the shot's not falling, none of them really give you a whole lot else. So, I mean, you've got to continue to hammer the pick and roll with Verge and Bryce McGowan's with Derek Walker. You've got to keep giving Walker touches to see what he can do, kind of depending on the matchup. You've got to run at every opportunity. I think they need to do a better job of off of stops, pushing the pace, really running the floor, trying to get easy points at the rim before the other team can get their half court defense set. That's another way where they can steal some points here and there. Because I feel like when we've seen Bryce in the open court, we've seen Verge occasionally in the open court, we've seen some good plays from these guys, but it seems like they haven't really made it an emphasis to get out and push the pace. There's a lot of kind of walking the ball up the floor, whether whoever gets the inbound or gets the outlet or whatever the case is. So that could be somewhere they go. I think as Bryce continues to mature and kind of understands what he needs to do at this level, he'll be able to give you a little bit more. He really struggled against Indiana, only 3 of 14 from the field, 1 of 5 from 3. So that's he's a young freshman. That was his first taste of Big Ten basketball. So I think he'll be a source of offense moving forward. But ultimately, it's that there aren't a lot of other options with the way that this roster is put together.
Talking about options on offense, I want to talk about options on defense. I know against NC State, Sebron was kind of doing whatever he wanted. After Trey McGowan's went down, and he was probably your primary on-ball defender. And against NC State, Sebron was kind of getting whatever he wanted. But as a team, they contained Trace Jackson Davis against Indiana. Is that kind of more of what they're going to go to? Is more of a team defense, even against a singular person, just because they don't have that one go-to on-ball defender?
Yeah, and that's not just not having the one go-to on-ball defender. It's they don't have a single person that I'd say is probably above average, just lateral foot speed-wise. With Trey McGowan's injured, they had Bryce McGowan's on Sebron a lot, and that did not go well. But CJ Wilcher has pretty slow feet. Keisei Tominaga and Kobe Webster aren't particularly quick laterally. they don't really have a lot of options that can stay in front of guys. So it is going to have to be, you're going to have to funnel teams to the help. Excuse me. You're going to have to have that help side ready, and then the backside wings are going to have to drop to be able to rebound. They did a great job of, one, Derek Walker not giving Trace Jackson-Davis really deep seals. A lot of the shots were kind of over the top. And then when he did get deep touches, there was almost always somebody there kind of harassing him. So I think that is an area where this team can have success defensively, where they don't necessarily match up man-to-man against the likes of Jackson Davis and Hunter Dickinson and Kofi Coburn and guys like that. But if they can really swarm the ball, if they can have guys going full effort, flying around, helping the helper, they can have some success that way, because they've been decent defensively, just overall in terms of the shot percentage they've given up. They've forced some turnovers. They can be disruptive with some of their length and the way they play, but it's going to have to continue to be more disciplined the further they get into conference play, because outside of just getting beat on the ball, that is the biggest weakness on this team defensively, is discipline, is kind of being all on the same page and everybody understanding what they need to do on a given possession. There's just a lot of kind of laziness at times. There's a lot of switching when it doesn't need to happen and where it doesn't really give you an advantage and creates confusion. That's the kind of stuff that they have to clean up, because this is the way that they're going to have to defend. It is going to have to be 5 guys getting it done, because they don't really have, I think Derek Walker's a pretty solid individual defender, but beyond him, I don't know if they have really any above average one-on-one defenders on the team at this point.
We're speaking to Jacob Padilla of Hale Varsity, and I'm keeping it on the defensive side, going with more of a team defensive style and harassing the ball. What are they going to do about rim protection? Because it doesn't seem like even if they're doing a really good job of getting to the ball and surrounding people, it doesn't seem like they have that one person who can really go up and not really block a shot, but just change the trajectory of somebody trying to take a shot at the rim.
Yeah, some of that could potentially be just the growth of someone like Eduardo Andre into being a more consistent role player off the bench. He isn't blocking a ton of shots, but in his brief stretches, I thought he's done a good job of playing vertical, of being in position. Derek Walker is actually blocking over a shot a game. He's done a good job, but he is only a 6'8" center. So that's something where they're going to have to rely on being in the right position. But I think a guy like Andre offers you the most upside in that area just because of his length. Wingspan 7'4", 7'5", and he has done a good job of playing with verticality at times. He just has to get to the point where Hoiberg is going to him consistently, because at this point, it seems kind of on a game-by-game basis, like where he goes off the bench. Does Eduardo Andre play, or is it going to be Wilhelm Breitenbach? Those two play together. We saw Andre, even before he got ejected, wasn't in the rotation against NC State, who really only had one big and played 4 perimeter players around him. Indiana, they had a 2-big set, so Andre was the first big off the bench, and then Breitenbach came in and played a lot of 4. So that's going to be a kind of matchup situation thing, it looks like, all season. If Andre can kind of progress this year and be more reliable, I think that could give you the clearest path to a little bit more rim protection than what we've seen.
We're speaking to Jacob Padilla of Hale Varsity. A couple more before we have to let you go, Jacob. I want to go back to the backcourt. What have your thoughts been on Alonzo Verge Jr. these last couple games? Because, I mean, obviously he had some criticism in the first couple games trying to find his role, started to turn a corner, and then on Saturday had a couple questionable shots in transition, pulled up for a 3 at the top of the key while Nebraska was down a couple possessions. I mean, what have been your overall thoughts on Alonzo Verge's performance with the team the last couple games?
Yeah, I thought the first 4 minutes that he came in were really good to start the game. And then his second stint, after he sat down for a few minutes, was not nearly as good. And things were kind of all over the place from then on. And I'm seeing a lot of the same things with Verge that I saw last year with Teddy Allen. Whereas that most of the time, that guy is the best option. And the guys around him aren't doing a whole lot. But in turn, that leads to that player trying to do too much, and ultimately it doesn't work out. So Verge was the only guy who scored in double figures against Indiana. And you look at the roster, I talked about kind of the makeup. When guys aren't shooting, kind of what else do they bring? There aren't a lot of guys that can beat their man off the bounce on this team. So ideally, you'd like to play the ball movement style where it's flying around, guys are cutting, you get an open looks that way, and that's definitely Hoiberg's preference to start with. But I thought Indiana was doing a good job of kind of blowing up some of their off-ball actions, and they didn't give Keisei Tominaga many good looks, especially early in that game. So it's a little bit of, I think, everybody else not doing a whole lot. So then Verge feels like, all right, I got to be the guy here. And that leads to him taking some bad shots and getting some turnovers. So it's gonna be a deal where Hoiberg is gonna have to find a way to get the most out of Verge and his ability to create, while meshing that with kind of the overall team concept. And he's got to get more from the guys around Verge. Like Bryce can't go 3 for 14. If that happens again, then Nebraska's not winning. And they need guys to knock down some shots when they get opportunities. You can't have Keisei and CJ going 2 for 9 from 3, because if that's going to happen, you don't really have another option besides Verge trying to create. So I think it wasn't good, but I don't necessarily know it's a case where, simply you bench Verge and things get a lot better. That's happened for stretches this year, but I don't know if that is an option that you can really rely on once you get into the Big Ten, where teams are really scouting you well, and you've got the top end athleticism that you're going to have to deal with. So it's been really rocky so far, but obviously he's one of the most talented players on the team, and you're going to need to use that talent. But he's got to handle it better than he has thus far as well.
Last one before we let you go, I want to look forward here to tonight's matchup with Michigan. Obviously, they have Hunter Dickinson and Michigan coming in tonight. Dickinson's going to get his own. I mean, every single night he's going to get his share of points and his share of just stuff down in the paint. But I kind of want to tie it in with somebody that on our text line said 78.7%. That's what Derek Walker is shooting. Shouldn't Nebraska try to get Walker the ball more? So I ask you, Jacob, how does Nebraska go about containing Hunter Dickinson and just Michigan as a whole? What should their attack be tonight?
Yeah, and part of the reason Walker's shooting that percentage is because he's really selective with his shot attempt. So it's not simply a case, he's shooting 80%. You should get him the ball every single time. That's not going to produce more points.
Yeah.
It's just Derek isn't a guy who's going to create a lot himself. That being said, we talked about it a couple weeks ago. They have to keep him involved. They do have to look for him. And a couple of the turnovers were them trying to force him the ball on the roll to the rim and Indiana being ready for it. And that'll, if that's the case, that's when you do have to make the skip pass, and then guys are going to have to hit shots to keep defenses honest. So it's always going to come back to the shooting there, but they're going to have to try to draw Dickinson out there, try to get him involved in those ball screens, try to get him to defend in space. I think I'm assuming that they're going to play some drop coverage there, which fortunately could lead to some more of the Alonzo Verge pull-up jumpers. Hopefully they're falling more than they have been recently, but yeah, you're going to have to try to make Dickinson defend in space as best you can, create opportunities there, and then maybe you attack, draw Dickinson, and then that opens up Derek Walker for the putback, and that can be a source of offense as well, where you draw the defender and then get it up on the glass and let your big guy go and crash. That's been an effective attack against Nebraska so far this season. But yeah, it's going to have to be good decisions by the ball handlers. You're going to have to try to move the ball a little bit better than they did against Indiana. But then eventually somebody is going to have to do something once they do have the ball. And that's where things kind of broke down against Indiana.
All right, Jacob, appreciate the time as always. Good stuff there. Enjoy the game tonight. Hopefully the shots start falling a little bit more and it'll be more exciting to talk about. Appreciate the time as always.
All right, talk to you guys next week.
That is Jacob Padilla of Hail Varsity. Appreciate him taking a couple minutes and talking some Husker hoops before Nebraska plays Michigan tonight at PBA. Let's take our final timeout. We will get you ready for one-on-one with DP live from Barry's next on the Happy Hour.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day long wherever you are. More of the happy hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. 93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
A rather breezy Tuesday. South-southwest winds will be gusting 20 to 25 for much of the day. We'll try to relax this afternoon. We'll top out near 41 under partly cloudy skies. Partly cloudy skies continuing tonight with a low dropping down to around 20. A bit of a warm-up tomorrow as we'll see mostly sunny skies with a high of 46. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
I was in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean when it happened. There was a sudden jolt and our submarine crashed on the seafloor. We were in total darkness.
That's Dr. Dejana Figueroa, a marine biologist and STEM teacher, talking about a deep sea dive she'll never forget.
It's funny, when I was a kid, I was afraid of the ocean, and there I was, 2 miles below the surface. But as a scientist, you prepare for that. Using our training and a little creativity, we fixed the sub and finished our experiments. The dive was just too important. Every dive gives us glimpses at things few people ever get to see. Glowing creatures, fiery undersea volcanoes. When we got back to the surface, I kissed the ground and called my mom, of course. But you know what? I wouldn't trade that dive for anything.
Dr. Figueroa uses her passion for STEM to discover new things and make the world a better place. She can STEM, so can you. Check out She Can STEM for more stories and inspiration. A message from the Ad Council.
Barry's is back and better than ever. Join us there on Tuesday from 3 to 6 p.m. as DP goes one-on-one and Jay Foreman joins for Old School as we prepare for the Michigan-Nebraska basketball game to follow. Drinks, food, and sports talk. Join us for it all on Tuesday at Barry's.
At Southeast Community College, we know that winter isn't even here yet, but spring is already on our minds. Registration for the spring 2022 semester is open now. Whether you want to get a head start on a 4-year degree, learn a new trade with a certificate program, or add to your job skills, SCC has a class for you. Spring semester starts January 10th. Learn more about our more than 60 programs of study online at southeast.edu. SCC, your path to possible.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric ensures our home and office HVAC systems run smoothly throughout the year to provide maximum comfort and convenience. Routine maintenance reduced our operating costs just by improving the efficiency of our unit. Consider a maintenance agreement to ensure you too receive priority for services and scheduling. This helps meet manufacturer warranty requirements. Action delivers honest quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Landmark Implement, your local John Deere dealer, invites you to attend our upcoming Parts and Service Expo events. It's the best time to buy parts all year. Take advantage of special discounts at the event and other discounts throughout the month of December. You'll find savings on oil and filters, attachments, gifts for under the tree, and most pre-ordered John Deere parts. You'll also have a chance to visit with our trained and certified technicians and sign up for our winter service specials. Don't miss out. It only comes around once a year at your local Landmark Implement. Visit landmarkimp.com for a complete schedule of our expo events.
Working at Continental of Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now, they're hiring for production operators at $21.72 an hour and other select jobs starting at $23.42 an hour, with wages growing up to $27.55 an hour. Continental also has salary jobs available with great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates. To learn more or apply, go to continentaljob.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
This year, show her she's the one with 1 carat diamond jewelry from Riddles Jewelry, your trusted family-owned jeweler for over 60 years. Choose from Riddle's remarkable collection of 1 carat total weight diamonds in rings, pendants, bracelets, or earrings at prices you'll love with savings up to 50%. Show the one you love how much they mean to you with the perfect 1 carat diamond gift from Riddle's Jewelry.
located in Gateway Mall.
Are you dragging through each day? Most people are dehydrated or deficient in essential vitamins, minerals, and more. Live Hydration Spa helps you get more out of your life with their IV hydration treatments to help with anti-aging, weight loss, endurance, and more. Their performance packages can help you feel better doing your normal daily routine with boosts of energy and vitality, an increase in immunity, and quicker athletic recovery. Call today for an appointment at 402-413-2042 or walk in at 71st and Pioneers. Live Hydration Spa.
You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert and Enrique Alvarez Clary on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back here on the Happy Hour, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. If you are making your way downtown for Nebraska, Michigan tonight, make sure you stop at Barry's, as one-on-one with DP will be there from 3 to 4, and then DP and Jay will be there from 4 to 6, getting you ready. I know Happer's down there with them as well, getting you ready for Nebraska and the Wolverines tonight, tipping off shortly after 6 p.m.
Anybody that sees Jay, I need you to say, go Pats.
Jay's got a sensitive stomach, man. That's going to be interesting to see how it
It's
goes.
going to be so.
See how it happens.
Like, you guys
on
wanted the
Friday.
one chip challenge, but I got 5 hot wings, and he thinks it's cool. He goes, "Oh no, I played at Buffalo. I know wings." I'm like, no, you don't know this.
You don't know these wings.
You don't know this.
Part of me wonders what happens if Jay does not make it through the wings.
He has to. He didn't have a choice. He has to.
I mean, we all made it through the wings.
Yeah. That's the thing.
So if he doesn't make it through the wings,
oh no! Look, I'm not gonna say anything.
Ooh.
Just know, hey, what is known does not need to be said.
The Pats won. Speaking of teams that won last night, Rico.
Yeah, whatever. Go ahead.
The Chicago Bulls are 17-8.
Mm-hmm.
They beat the Denver Nuggets. Happers
without
Denver Nuggets, 109-97, without DeMar DeRozan.
There you go.
Do you know who started in his place?
Who did?
Io DeSunmu.
Oh,
the Illinois grad.
Look at that.
The Chicago native.
I'm still mad that you guys got Io.
He had 42, or he played in 42 minutes last night. Shot 4 of 6 from the field, 1 of 2 from deep. Had 11 points.
I like Io. I like him a lot.
Mark texts into the text line, says the wing challenge with Jay will be Friday at 4 p.m. So that'll be the time. He doesn't
excited.
Now, here's the funny thing about it. He doesn't like the cameras on him to begin with.
He's gonna hate him with the wings.
He's about to have cameras on him. I'm
gonna have to stay a little bit longer on Friday. I'm gonna have wings. I'm not gonna put no sauce on them. No.
Yeah, I just want chicken wings.
Hopefully, because I think we're getting Brent back in here.
Yes.
Hopefully, he brings the other sauces. I'll put some of the level 1, level 2.
Yes, Brett Baker
sauces.
is going to come back. So it's going to be. I'm very excited. But back to the Bulls. They are a half game back from first place in the East.
They're not a half game back. The winning
Yes.
percentage wise, they are behind.
Yes,
but they have one more win and one more loss than the Nets.
Mm-hmm. You're right.
So it's weird. They're not behind, but they are. They also have the head-to-head win against the Nets. So there's that. It's very.
Listen to these.
It just goes off winning percentage.
These are the last. So they're on a 4-game winning streak. They've won 5 out of their last 6, with their one loss being a 3-point loss to Miami. But this is their last 4 games. Charlotte, they won 133-119 at New York, 119-115. A game they almost lost after being up big. Then they won at Brooklyn, and then last night against Denver. I'm telling you, man, the Chicago Bulls 17-8. That was last night without DeMar DeRozan. Give me the Chicago Bulls. Don't forget, Rico.
I know.
So we have to announce our bet. What's our bet? So at the end of the season, I will be 21. So it's a 6-pack.
The winner has to buy the loser a 6-pack of alcoholic beverages.
Yes, of their choice.
Of their choice.
All right, perfect.
Because Nick at don't text line viewers whatever. Nick will be 21 at the end of the NBA season. Before.
At the end of the NBA regular season,
yes,
I will be 21.
Yes,
I will be a couple months removed from 21.
Look at that. He'll know his favorite beer and all.
I sure will. So we have about a minute left here before we head out to Barry's. Good stuff from Jacob Padilla of Hale Varsity talking about just the offensive struggles, and he makes a very good point. I honestly didn't think about it. Where else do they turn if the 3-point shot doesn't fall? And he even said it that Derek Walker is really selective on the shots he takes.
Mhm.
So where else do you turn if the 3-point shot or just the jump shot's not falling?
You don't really have anybody else aside from Alonzo Verge who can really bully their way to the rim. And he doesn't even bully his way to the rim. He barely gets to the rim. He's shorter than everybody else. He's smaller. I mean, Bryce McGowan has shown the knack for getting to the rim, but he needs to learn how to finish better at the rim. He can finish pretty well, but he needs to get better at it to make that, put that into his arsenal.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So Nebraska, Michigan tonight. Rico, you're going to the game. What's the prediction?
Honestly, I think it's going to be like Indiana. I think Nebraska keeps it close, but they end up losing.
All right. I am going to say Nebraska loses by less than 7. Talk to you guys tomorrow.
Adios.
Landmark Implement, your local John Deere dealer, invites you to attend our upcoming Parts and Service Expo events.